While the king and the bishop fight, the knight is moving. Not loudly, not dramatically, but decisively. And by the time anyone notices, it may already be too late. Welcome to Threads of Power, where Nigerian politics is examined, not praised, and not protested. Watch closely. We've mapped Tinubu's fortress, its walls, its alliances, its structural advantages. We've decoded the forgotten forces quietly eroding that fortress from within. We've exposed Peter Obi's dilemma, the moral purity that inspires millions and the political trap it creates. On paper, the story feels familiar. A rematch, 2023 replayed in 2027. Tinubu versus Obi, machine versus movement, power versus purity. The media has already written the script. The pundits have chosen their sides. The nation is being trained to believe these are the only two options. But here's the uncomfortable truth about high-stakes politics. The winner is rarely the loudest. It's rarely the most obvious. It's almost never the person everyone is watching. It's the person everyone ignored. Because while the giants clash in public, a different kind of contender is taking shape quietly, not attacking the fortress, not joining the movement, but changing the terrain itself. This is not about a surprise candidate. This is about a political virus. One that doesn't storm the gates. It rewires the battlefield. Today, we reveal the 2027 Joker. To understand the Joker, you have to forget names, forget personalities, forget political celebrities. The Joker is not a person first. It's a profile. Picture someone with a formidable regional base, but without a toxic national brand. Someone respected, but not worshipped. Competent, but not polarizing. A manager, not a messiah. Think CEO energy, governor results, administrator instincts. Not a career politician who lives on slogans, but someone whose strongest argument is a record, roads built, salaries paid, systems fixed. They are not shouting on TV, they are not trending on X, they are not attacking Tinubu, they are not defending Obi. They are silent. While the Obi-Tinubu war dominates headlines, the Joker stays deliberately invisible. No rallies, no slogans, no ideological crusades. Instead, they are doing something far more dangerous. They are letting the giants define themselves while refusing to be defined at all. They understand something most politicians forget. Every election creates emotional baggage, and 2023 created a lot of it. Anger, disappointment, betrayal, unresolved grief. Tinubu carries the burden of incumbency. Obi carries the burden of expectation. The Joker carries none of that. They are not trapped by the trauma of 2023. They are not emotionally indebted to its battles. They are untouched by its scars. And that is their first and greatest advantage. But a profile alone doesn't win elections. History doesn't turn on resumes. It turns on moments. And that moment is coming. Engineered not by the Joker, but by the very forces already reshaping Nigeria beneath the surface. Remember the forgotten forces, the anguish of the provider, the man and woman who work harder every year just to fall further behind, the generation of broken promises, young Nigerians raised on hope, now fluent in disappointment. By late 2026, their pain doesn't just simmer, it peaks. Inflation isn't an abstract number anymore, it's hunger. Unemployment isn't a statistic, it's humiliation. Insecurity isn't political rhetoric, it's survival. And suddenly, the Obi-Tinubu fight starts to sound distant, elite, disconnected. Obi or Tinubu begins to feel like being asked to choose between two different kinds of suffering. Hope fatigue sets in. Anger exhaustion follows. This is where something far more dangerous than opposition emerges. Apathy. Not protest votes, not rebellion, silence. Turnout dips, especially among urban voters, swing voters, and the politically traumatized middle. And here's the brutal math of Nigerian elections. You don't need to be loved by everyone. You just need others to stay home.
The Joker's path isn't through the center of the battlefield, it's around it. They don't aim for a majority, they aim for a plurality, a solid, mobilized base in the right regions, while everyone else bleeds votes through fragmentation. But this path requires a weapon. Not money, not charisma, not ideology. A narrative, a dangerous one. Tired of the same fight? Neither of them built this country. Competence over charisma. Enough. The Joker's slogan will not be hope. It will not be renewed hope. It won't promise a revolution. It will promise relief. Their message is rejection, but a calm, adult rejection. A refusal to participate in the emotional blackmail of 2023. They position themselves as the none-of-the-above option. Not anti-Obi, not anti-Tinubu, post both. The candidate for people who are simply tired. Tired of drama, tired of slogans, tired of being asked to sacrifice endlessly for a future that never arrives.
This narrative spreads quietly, not through political war rooms, but through conversations, through pastors preaching stability over prophecy, through business leaders whispering about predictability, through influencers who once shouted hope, now speaking softly about competence. And suddenly, the giant's greatest asset becomes their weakness. Their fame reminds people of pain. The Joker's obscurity feels like peace. Now we enter the shadow room. The retired generals, the money men, the regional blocs. These people are not emotional. They are not loyal. They are not sentimental. They backed Tinubu in 2023 because he was the safest bet. But by 2026, safety may look different. If the economy still staggers, if political capital is depleted, if public anger becomes radioactive, then the kingmakers do what they always do. They hedge. They look for a candidate who can win without reopening old wounds, without awakening movements they can't control. The Joker becomes perfect, quiet enough to be shaped, strong enough to win, clean enough to sell. Deals are made softly. We deliver the block. You protect our interests. No public alliances, no movement-killing endorsements, just structure, money, silence. This is how a dark horse gets power without ever looking like a chased it. Now, imagine Election Day 2027. Tinubu's Southwest turns out, but not unanimously. Cracks remain. Obi's Southeast and South-South show passion, but the purist pragmatist divide cost him margins in critical states. Then comes the shock. In the North Central, parts of the Northwest, even pockets of the Northeast, a disciplined bloc votes as one. Maybe it's a regional champion. Maybe a carefully balanced ticket that doesn't trigger old fears. State by state, the Joker sweeps 6, then 7, then 8 key states. The national vote fractures. 3 strong candidates, no dominant narrative, and suddenly, 35% is enough. The electoral map freezes. The pundits panic. The math becomes unforgiving. The Joker doesn't win a mandate, they win a plurality. And Nigeria wakes up to a president nobody saw coming because everyone was watching someone else. Here is the lesson history keeps teaching us. When 2 forces polarize a nation long enough, they create a vacuum, and nature hates a vacuum. Tinubu and Obi define themselves against each other so completely that they leave a third identity untouched, the exhausted alternative. The Joker doesn't win by being loved, they win by not being hated. Not by inspiring passion, but by minimizing resistance. Not by owning the loudest supporters, but by having the fewest enemies. And that completes the series. From Tinubu's fortress to the forgotten forces undermining it, to Obi's dilemma trapping the opposition, and finally, the dark horse Joker waiting in the shadows. This is the hidden chessboard of 2027. If you missed any part of this analysis, the full playlist is right here. Watch it, because politics is a story written long before the votes are cast. Now you know the plot. Like, subscribe, turn on notifications, because the next move is already happening.